Welcome in, latest episode of that SEC podcast. I'm your host, Michael Bratton. I go by SEC Mike on the Twitters, and there he is, everybody's favorite cousin Shane. What's up, brother?
Hey, buddy, what's going on?
Oh, man, gearing up for another wild weekend of showdowns in the SEC.
Yes.
We've got playoff rankings coming out soon. Just want to give everybody a heads up because we're going a little early. Shay's got to get to bed. He's like a toddler over here. But the rankings show will be in an hour and a half. So I'm going to be jumping back on. So you're going to get two editions. Still 2 editions on Wednesday, 2 editions on Tuesday. You can't beat it. Two editions for the price of free over here at that SEC podcast. But we're gonna do another show. Steven's going to jump on the line, react to the playoff rankings. So that'll be in about 90 minutes. But before we get there, Shane, we got a lot of SEC action to preview. You know what?
That's right, man. And we always get to that point where we keep looking in the rearview mirror. Last weekend was fantastic. Last week, you know what I'm saying? I'm still thinking about those roles. But Mike, we got to look ahead because this is what happens. How many times do we have some success at a certain program, or maybe we get caught looking behind about what just happened and you forget about what's coming in this weekend, Mike? This is a huge Saturday. I know we don't want to dub it separation, but it is eliminating. We're at a point now that every loss is fatal. So, Mike, this weekend is going to be very, very crucial.
Yeah, shout out to Michael Riley, Florida fan. He says, battle of the biggest loser, Brian Kelly, Billy Napier. Which coach will screw up more than the other? So everybody's got something on the line this weekend. You know
Absolutely. No, that's a good point, Mike. That is a very, very good point. We've also got some like, it can't get any worse, right? Until it does.
Well, not speaking of worse, Shane, but speaking of the best, Cousin JR, what a guy. He's the best.
There he is.
He just gifted Stephen Hill. Stephen, welcome to the family. And thank you, Cousin JR. And also, speaking of the best, Shane, MyBookie. Don't forget, shows presented by MyBookie, the online sports book. Fade my picks. Fade Cousin Shane's dreaded lock of the week over at MyBookie because he'll just kill you there. But again, promo code that SEC, THAT SEC, they will double Cousin Curse, double your initial deposit over at mybookie.ag, the online sportsbook, today with that promo code, that SEC. And Shane, don't give it away. Don't ever give it away because it's worth its weight in gold, your lock of the week, given how wrong you are about it. But do you have a feeling about the lock this week?
I got it down between 2 right now, Mike, and I feel pretty good about both of them. It's almost like a coin test. Which one gets me right back? Because I feel like, and that's the thing, again, on these locks, Mike, it's not, I don't feel like this team's going to lose. I'm that confident these teams are going to win. So, unfortunately, given my track record, I'm probably going to give somebody some bad news.
Have you ever, because if ever, we're about to hop into this game, so this is going to be maybe my little segue here, Shane. But have you ever used your lock powers for good, for the good of all nation? Because if you were ever going to do it, this would be the week to do it. Have you considered that?
I have, because I have done this, Mike. I did it last year with South Carolina and Tennessee. If
that's
you
when you
remember
took the Mayo bath.
Yeah, I took South Carolina and kind of fell on the grenade there. So maybe you're onto something. Maybe I should just reevaluate, because there's one or two of you that comment like, this fat bastard never picks Tennessee. Like, I'm actually wearing the uniforms out there helping the game. You know what I'm saying? But it does kind of feel like I have something to do with it. So maybe, just maybe I'll, because I've got some bad news, Mike. We're going to get to it here in a little bit, but I'm hearing some bad things about Nico not even starting in this game. So I don't want to put the cart in front of the horse, but that does worry me a little bit.
Man, I don't even know where to go from there. But all right, let's just jump into it, Shane. Let's not delay any longer.
I need a drink thinking about that.
Yeah. Now I don't. You've got me speechless here, Shane. I don't even know what to say here. But let's say this. And here's another thing, Shane. I've been getting killed online as per usual. I'm used to it by now. Trying to throw up my little graphics.
My source is the Cinnabon maker there at the Pilot. So take that for what it's worth. I don't know. He said he saw Jimmy Hines this morning. And
how about this one, though, Shay? So Tennessee at Georgia, battle for the SEC East, if that was still a thing. But, anything, I mean, I thought, me putting this graphic out there, I thought I'd be a hero on Rocky Top, but they have just been killing me relentlessly. To hell with the footballs. To hell with all the greens and purples on one side. Is there anything that stands out to you about this little preview here?
Well, I mean, honestly, the rush offense efficiency kind of surprised me for Tennessee, for a team that loves to run the football.
Ding, 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 ding. You dumbass. You son of a bitch. Don't you know who Dylan Sampson is? He's the best player in the country, which he may be.
Yeah.
And hell, I don't even make these numbers, Shane. I grab them off a website called Games on Paper, and they are very reliable. So, again, don't come at me about this, but that's what the numbers are.
Yeah.
And here, again, people get confused. What is this efficiency? Well, here's why I use it, Shane, because any dummy can just go on here and say, well, how many yards you rushing for? How many touchdowns you have? Well, Georgia's got less. How in the hell can they have better efficiency? But efficiency is all about what you do and who you do it against. Let me put it to you this way, Shane. If Tennessee runs for 200 yards on Kent State, but they run for 150 on Georgia, which game do you think they actually had a better rushing attack in?
Georgia.
Georgia.
Yeah.
Correct. So you take into value consideration the opponent. Also, let me ask you this, Shane. Well, you tell me, what is a better rush here? It's 3rd and 6, and you rush for 5 yards?
Yeah.
Or it's 3rd and 3, and you rush for 4 yards? What do you think is the better?
The latter. Yes.
Right, because you're moving the chains, which gets you to scoring the football. I mean, that's basically as simple as I can state efficiency. And Tennessee has been effective rushing the football, but they're getting stuffed in a lot of critical situations. 3rd and short, 4th and short, goal line. They're not converting as often as they should, and they have a hell of a lot of attempts because they can't. I shouldn't say can't, because it's starting to come together a little bit, but for the most of the season, Shane, they can't throw the damn football.
Yeah. So
they have had to run the football. So I throw all that to say that's how we get to the 97 rush efficiency for Tennessee. And I think that is potentially, Shane, a real issue against the Georgia Bulldogs, even though Tennessee's got the most footballs here. And again, Tennessee's defense is elite. They have not allowed an opponent to score 20 points on them this entire damn season, Shane. So this really is going to be the first team to 20 points, but can Tennessee get to 20 or 21, however many it's going to take to actually win this damn game against Georgia, which if they can't run the football? What's your thoughts on that? Because that is, it goes without saying, in all offseason, we got to hear it, Shane, from Bulldog fans, because they do own Tennessee.
Yeah.
But hell, Georgia owns everybody except Bama and apparently Lane Kiffin now. But they have owned Tennessee, and the reason being they have stifled Heupel's offense because they cannot run the football on them. And I think it's as simple as that sounds. If Tennessee can't run on Saturday, they don't have a prayer.
Well, it's very similar to last time they were down there in Athens, Mike. I mean, that's kind of there was a lot of Tennessee fans very hopeful in that football game until they could not run the football. And once they got one-dimensional, it was over, And it was almost like their secondary challenged those wide receivers and said, hey, it's one-on-one. It's you against me, and I think we're better than you. And at the end of the day, they were. So I feel like the defense, especially on Tennessee's side, they have got to eliminate kind of that dual threat. They got to make Georgia one-dimensional, but vice versa. I think if Tennessee can stay two-dimensional, get that running game going, then, yeah, I think there's an opportunity for a win here. Mike left the room. It made so much sense. So,
No, I'm trying to download some more things I realized I didn't have. But yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. But how about on the flip side, Shane? Georgia's offense going up against this Tennessee defense, because that's going to be a story in itself. Because hell, last I checked, Shane, Ole Miss dominated these guys, and I think Tennessee's got a better defensive line than Ole Miss.
right.
And maybe not by like a wide margin. And maybe not even, I think it's fair to say Ole Miss starters across the board, maybe slightly better than Tennessee starters. But where Tennessee separates itself is they go 10 to 12 deep on that defensive line, whereas Ole Miss doesn't. But even against Florida, Georgia struggled.
Yeah.
Even against Texas, even though that was a dominant performance, and I'm just talking about the offense here, they had multiple turnovers against Texas. So this was not a one-off. This was not a two-off. This is 3 in a row here, and we got people in the press legitimately asking old Kirby, have you considered benching Carson Beck? That's not what you want to hear mid-November, biggest game of the football year for the Dogs.
No, do we got the response to that one? I feel like they are who they are right now. I mean, last week even, they basically forced ETN in there because he at least wouldn't drop the football, even though he's hurt. And maybe not even the best option at this point. Georgia rushing attack is just non-existent. It's not even close. I think about some of the best Georgia football teams. I mean, I joked earlier about LSU earlier in the week about DBU, wide receiver U. When I always thought about running backs, I always think about the University of Georgia. And it blows my mind that here we are again, another year under Kirby, and we have no rush. Like, they even went out and stole a guy from Florida, and it feels like, hey, we do not have any rushing attack here on this front. And a lot of that may have to be with the running game, but a lot of it, I feel like, has to do with that offensive line not creating opportunities either.
Right. And Kirby was asked about that as well, though, Shane, and he said, a lot of that is playing on the road. Mm-hmm. I mean, this has been a crazy schedule for Georgia, Shane.
Oh, yeah.
They have not played a home game since October 12th. And here this game is going to be November 16th because of the Jacksonville game and a couple road trips. I mean, they've had a damn gauntlet here.
Yeah.
And they've only had 2 home games since September 7th. So
this is it, though.
Could it be, though, the offensive line will play a lot better now that they're not in Oxford? Because Oxford's never been viewed as like the toughest place to play.
Yeah.
But it looked like it on Saturday. They set a record for attendance. Those fans, even though they screwed up storming the field, had to do it twice there. But they brought it. I mean, that looked like an elite atmosphere just from watching it on TV.
It's like the video games. I think if you got a good home field advantage, if it's your team, if it's your home, it feels like you got a little +3. So if I'm normally a 93, I'm a 96 tonight. But Tennessee on the opposite side, you can see somebody that's a 96, they're now a 93. Because I do think that loud environment is going to take away from both offense and defense. But you think about the offensive line, I've heard it several times about changing snap counts, going to, claps, going away from that. It's just, you hear about this adjustments that you're having to do on the road, and now you can kind of play your game when you're at home. So, yeah, I definitely think it is an advantage to be there. And maybe not as much on the offensive line, but right now I think Georgia will take anything they can get.
Hennessy Vol, he's saying, the Bear, Chris Felica, said Nico a no-go. I don't know how he would know before anyone else, but is that what you've been catching wind of?
We were both at the Cinnabon place, and I didn't want to get my source, but there he is,
Because hey, that line obviously surprised a lot of people. I think it surprised the hell out of you, Shane, when it was Georgia -9, -10.5, whatever. I think it's currently -9. That would lead me to believe Nico's playing. I think they were kind of, it's 10 right now. I kind of thought they were hedging their bets with that 10 line. If Chris Felica knows that Nico ain't playing, this line would significantly move, I feel like.
Or do you think that it already has? You know, I mean, do you already think that this is? I think it's adjusted already for Nico not being in. I would say if Nico's 100% and he's in there, this game would have been closer to 5 or 6. But you know, I don't know. Maybe they're just kind of hedging their bets that Nico wouldn't be there, because again, the concussion protocol. It's not like a sprained ankle. You know, this is something that you've got to go through the protocols, and if you don't meet that baseline, Nico's not getting in there. So
right. Well, I do know he practiced today, Shane. So he's taking the steps to play.
Yeah. Well, I walked to the fridge. Doesn't mean I'm going to do a marathon this weekend, Mike. You know.
That's true. That's true. But
I think there's certain things you could do on a. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's like. I don't know, what does that mean? He practiced. Was he out there with the ones? Was he on the sideline? You know, I have no idea. I've not heard anything.
I believe he was out there,
Yeah,
and participating, but he was not running the offense. Is how I understood it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. It's just. I mean, what is it? It's freaking Tuesday, right? I mean, we still got plenty of time to find that answer, but you definitely want them to be game ready. So you got to keep them warm, keep them going, keep them, you know, on that path and that structure. So, but this is a gamble, man. This is an absolute dynamite gamble, because we've seen what is behind Nico, and it is more than 10 points, Mike. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. So, if Nico doesn't play, what's it going to take for Tennessee to get a win at Georgia?
A miracle. Absolute miracle. It's just going to take, I mean, the defense is going to have to be even better than they already are.
Can I counter that?
Yeah, please.
Well, DJ Lagway did play a little bit, but some guy named Warner that I had literally never heard of till about 3 weeks ago nearly beat Georgia. Now, it wasn't in Athens. It was in Jacksonville. I'll give you that. But Tennessee's defense is a hell of a lot better than Florida's.
Yeah.
And Tennessee's running game better than Florida's. I would say Tennessee's got better receivers than Florida. If that guy, the game was tied, I think, with about 4 minutes left.
Mm-hmm.
If they can do that, I think Tennessee could. I sure as hell wouldn't pick them to do it, but I'm saying they could. I don't think it would take a miracle to beat Georgia. Not the way Beck's playing. Now, again, in that game, Beck had 3 it's going to take something like that. A couple turnovers from Beck or someone.
For sure.
But I would still give Tennessee a puncher's chance, because again, they've not allowed anyone to score 20.
Yeah, I mean, you would think the answer would be keep the offense on the field, but it's just Tennessee's not structured that way. They're up tempo, as everybody knows, and they're going to get the ball moving. So, yeah, it's going to take a little bit of lady luck on your side. Maybe that's what you need, just the element of surprise, a guy you really don't know, you know. Throw Schuler out there or something. You know? Let him cook, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, I'll tell you what, man, that Gaston Moore,
Yeah.
one thing you could say about him, he knows how to draw a defensive pass interference. I think because the ball's off the mark and the receivers are having to come back for it. But, hell, he did it about 6 times the other night.
That's it. Well, maybe that's the key right there. Just get the refs in your back pocket too, you know?
Well, and special teams, again, this is a game going to come down to something like that. You know what?
Yeah.
Special teams, you got to try to get the crowd out of it early if you're Tennessee. But, man, you just put a whole damper on my whole week here saying Nico ain't going to play.
I'm just saying, prepare for it.
How confident are you in these sources, Shane? Again, is it the Cinnabon man?
No, this is 50-50 source. I mean, this guy still owes me a pack of cigarettes, so I don't know. I don't know if I'm going with that one. But I'm just saying I'm hearing it, because it's not just one I've heard it from. I've heard it from a couple, but you know how negativity likes to spread, especially on Twitter and Tennessee Twitter. So
yeah,
I'm not changing the bets or anything like that, but my eyebrows are raised in concern.
Okay. Well, you got me thinking now here, Shane. You got me thinking.
Maybe I should go ahead and lock Georgia up, then Nico does come back.
Do you think Georgia can get the offense going against this defense?
I do, because, there's been several games Georgia was not supposed to be in it. I don't think it's weird. The Ole Miss one, I never felt like Georgia was an underdog or even talked to like an underdog. They were in Texas, They were 2 years ago when Tennessee was down there talking about a potential game. Yeah, it's like I feel like some of those Georgia just finds a way to show up and play. And I don't know, coming off this last week, and it almost would have helped. I think it would have helped Tennessee if they would have smoked Ole Miss, because maybe they would have heard this news of Nico. They may have kind of had their walls down a little bit, and maybe Tennessee could have took advantage of that. But now there's people telling them, hey, you lose this game, you are not going to the playoffs. You're not going to any SEC championships. You are nothing. You're done. And that's not what these kids signed up for. And there's a lot of talent down there in Athens. So, yeah, I feel like it's now time to put up or shut up. There'll be literally zero social media coming out of Athens this week, if I'm guessing,
Well, especially after I shared it with you. I don't know if you saw it. I believe it was Jake Pope. Did you see that? The Georgia player, after Ole Miss beat Georgia, he's out there celebrating.
Right.
But again, with that, I mean, we should make. I mean, that was awful. That was one of the worst looks I've ever seen on the field. I mean, there's Aaron Hernandez. That's the standard for awful looks. But I'm saying on the field, that and fair or not, Shane, all the other stuff. I mean, you're getting receivers arrested for domestic issues, the speeding, Carson Beck regressing, the Lamborghini, the Instagram girlfriend, all this, that, and the other. Let me spin it to you this way, because all I've heard from Tennessee people this week is, oh, my God, just Georgia has to have this. It's going to be rowdy as hell. We're walking into a damn buzzsaw. Based on what we have seen from Georgia this year, again, I'm going to throw up our schedule shit, because I feel like people just kind of forget, and they're just like, oh, God, this is Georgia, this is Kirby, this is the 3-time national champion, even though that was several years ago. They have not, you pointed to me, Shane. Which one of these games has Georgia played a complete football game?
Maybe Texas.
I wouldn't even say that. I mean, the offense had 3 turnovers. I don't think, I think their defense was outstanding, but a complete game was not on the schedule is the answer, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, the Tennessee, I didn't even watch that one. So
right.
All the way, I mean, enough to remember what happened. So maybe that 48-3 was the complete game, but
the point being, Shane, this team may not be capable of it, and you throw all this pressure on them.
Yeah.
You throw on, this is do or die your whole season. I mean, they play for championships down there. They're not even going to go to the playoff if they miss this game, right?
Yeah.
If they lose this one. Maybe that, I don't know what the leadership is down there, but it doesn't seem very strong.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they wilt and hell. I mean, Bobo, I've always thought Bobo was a good coordinator, but one turnover, one mistake. I mean, how tight is that guy's, getting, you know what I mean? Like, this is set up to where, like, if Tennessee takes a lead, Georgia may crumble. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I don't think that's crazy to suggest.
Well, I think it was it Holly Rowe? I think, I don't know if she was working the sideline, but one of them was just saying, talking about how Beck has just kind of let the pressure go now. He's like talking about how this is a new week and everything. And then like 2 plays later, he throws an interception. I was like, I don't think he's let it go, Ro. I think he's still feeling it. So, yeah, I think it's right now between Beck's ear. And, the fact you got media out here, I mean, he knows what the expectations are. He knows what the standards are. He was expecting to win a national. He was expecting to win a Heisman. He played it. He did the Joe Namath look. You know what I'm saying? And now he's not able to complete it on the football field. All we're seeing is this interception touchdown ratio that's just obnoxious to Georgia fans. And I'm not seeing any athletes outside of him step up and take over. Last year we had other guys, and they bring it up every freaking Saturday, that could step up and be the guy to take the pressure off of Beck, but not this year, man. It feels like it's Beck or nobody.
Well, you know who's not a nobody, Shane?
Who's that?
That's our guy Chase. How about him? Appreciate you,
Come
Chase.
on, cuz.
He just gifted a membership to Jeff P. Jeff, welcome
to the family.
Yeah. Man, what a game, Shane. And hey, how about cousin Joe here? Just gave us $10. Appreciate you. Okay, moving on. Last Tennessee versus, I don't get it, but is this the last time they're playing?
No. Well, no, they're playing next year. They got the same schedule.
Yeah, so J-Rod, appreciate you. He's saying the same thing. Chris Felica just said Nico not expected to play.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know how he's getting this guy, but
he also said College Station's not allowed stadium, so just saying.
What does the Bear know? I know he's a big-time gambling man.
Yeah, well, he took a gamble on that one, so what?
Shane's biggest weakness just became a member of the channel. Welcome, Peacock Pie. He just became a member, and just in time here for Thanksgiving right around the corner. You know what?
God, I hope he doesn't comment often because I'm going to lose focus quickly, Mike.
Well, you've made me lose focus with all this Nico talk, Shane, and there's only one thing that's going to cure it. You know what that is?
What's that? Little cornbread?
Cornbread Hemp. Come on. Cornbreadhemp.com/SEC. That should get you, with that promo code SEC, that'll get you 30% off at cornbreadhemp.com. What is this cornbread? America's first ever USDA organic THC gummy. I think Shane's eaten some of these before he came up with these Nico rumors. They also got the CBD sleep gummies. I love those. If you're looking for a healthier way to enjoy a carefree moment, check out cornbreadhemp.com/SEC. 30% off your entire order. And we're going to need it, Shane. Tennessee gets embarrassed here in Athens on Saturday. You know what?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If I keep getting Nico bad news, I'm going to need some more gummies there, Mike.
And Bobby G says cornbread and pico. All right, how about this one, Shane? I can't wait for this game. Speaking of eliminate, I didn't want to call it elimination. Again, we're calling it Old Rivalries Weekend.
Yeah.
Here's a good one. Mizzou at South Carolina. Big time. The battles of Columbia here. And the footballs are favoring of Missouri, Shane, which is pretty interesting. I would have thought it was the other way. South Carolina is hot as hell right now, but Missouri just will not die, Shane. They may not be hot, technically, like South Carolina, but they just keep winning. And like old Drink says, we're in it in the playoff hunt, Shane. So what's your early read on this one?
Yeah, like Deadpool, you could cut its arms off, and he's just going to keep regenerating and coming back. So, or that little, remember it's not RoboCop, it was Terminator, the cop that was the silver, You remember like the original? That's kind of like Mizzou right there. Just, you do whatever. It's just some way it keeps coming back at you. So, this is a game that you got two teams, brother, that are on the fringe of college football playoffs. Both of them have made an argument why they should be there, but only one of them can move forward with this analogy. You know what I'm saying? This is an elimination. This is the game that you just officially die or you prosper. And I feel like whoever wins this one's got to win it big. I think South Carolina's got to win big to make that argument. I feel like Mizzou's got to. This cannot be a close football game, brother. And I keep thinking that it will be. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they match well as far as defense versus offense. I don't know Brady Cook's situation. Have you heard anything?
Not yet, Shane. Drake's just said, they put out this injury report starting on Wednesday, so be on the lookout for it. So,
but I feel like even there, that Drew Pine, to say he moves forward with it, I felt like they got a little confidence in him, I mean, there was a couple of passes he threw in there. He just looked like a damn artist, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like maybe that was the game. So maybe I should be asking about Brady Cook. This could be a game that ultimately comes down to the fourth quarter, like a lot of these two teams have faced before, and whoever's got the best out of their quarterback gets the win.
Drew Pine may epitomize this football season better than any player, Shane, because one quarter he looks awful. The next he looks like he's going to win a damn Heisman. You know what I mean? So it's which Pine will show up for which quarter. But Cousin Todd wants to remind us it is Cock-Bember over here. And I think goodness, man, it is. And shout out Brandon. Appreciate you, brother. He just became a member.
Welcome to the family.
Welcome, Cousin Brandon. I think I missed one other one too. Let's see. But, man, I just can't get over how red hot and the Barnyard Pimp knows all about it. Welcome, Barnyard Pimp, to the family. But just how hot
it is. It's funny. South Carolina is just unbeatable right now, and
Right.
not just barely. I mean, they're just destroying football teams. And Mizzou just cannot find a way to lose, you know, and it's like these two trains are meeting, and one fan base is going to be extremely pissed off, and one's going to be extremely happy. This is a rivalry. It's a battle of the Columbias, or the Governor's Cup, or whatever they call it these days. But I will always call it the Columbia battle.
Let me ask you this, Shane, and I don't know that there's a wrong answer. Which coach you think is doing a better job this season? Is it Drake or is it Beamer?
Oh, man, that's a good one. I would have to say right now, Beamer. I mean, to go from firing the guy, and I mean, seriously, I was out. And after Old Dominion, after Kentucky, it's like, what are we, you know, it's like this team has just been on a uphill trajectory since that week 2, you know, and after that, it's just I've just saw improvement. I'm seeing it on the recruiting trail. I'm seeing it with the fan base. I'm seeing it on the football field. I'm seeing development. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think we ever went to a game saying we are worse than we were last week. And I feel like Mizzou has had some ups and downs up to this point. South Carolina is just on a different path. So I think you got to give credit to the head ball coach there.
And I love the fact, Shane, that, again, I've made my peace with South Carolina and how I think they should be in the playoff race. Are they really? Probably not. Probably not. I mean, hell, they wouldn't even rank them in the top 25, those damn cowards. Now, they may in about an hour here, but
Yeah.
and I'll eat my words here. But, again, to your point, credit Beamer for keeping his guys locked in.
Mm-hmm.
And not just locked in. I mean, my goodness, Shane, they're hurting people out here.
Yeah.
You know, with a lot of people thought as soon as you get eliminated from the playoff, all these guys, all they care about is NIL, this, that, and the other. I mean, these guys are battling their ass off, and I would still be pitching it if I'm Beamer that we got a shot, just like Drink is, and that is another reason I'm so intrigued by this game. Because both these teams are fighting for their playoff lives, as slim as that may seem to the outsiders. And who knows? I mean, there could be chaos in front of us.
Yes.
This is the chaos season. If all these teams were like, well, what if this team goes 10-2? What if that team? What if this team? What if that team? What if they all go 9-3? If they're all 9-3, I'm giving it to South Carolina. I don't know about you.
No, that's a great point. I mean, you could have Tennessee beat Georgia, and then Tennessee lose to Vanderbilt. That would not blow my mind. You know, that you could have Texas A&M beat Texas here at the end. You may have, I mean, just there's so many crazy scenarios that aren't even that crazy. I would call them realistic scenarios right now. Every given Saturday, there's a team going to pull off an upset, and you're just praying to God it's not against yours if you're going to the playoffs.
How many points do you think will it take to win this game the way South Carolina's defense is playing, the way Missouri's defense is? Hell, Missouri defense won them the football game. They scored the final points last week. So both these defenses are playing really, really well. Points may be tough to come by. How many points do you think it's going to take to win this one?
I think you needed 3 scores, so 21, maybe 24, somewhere around there. I think that's going to have to be the you get to 24, you win. So, and that's easier said than done, right? You know, you talk about South Carolina defense, getting 24 points is almost impossible. Getting 21 points against Mizzou, sometimes, at times, impossible. So, yeah, I'm very intrigued with how this one plays out. Hell, I just sat in a football game, Mike. It was like 10-9 or 10. You know, my grandfather would have loved that football game. You know?
Speaking of impossible, Spur Your Enthusiasm says, too bad it's impossible to tackle Sellers right now. And then shout out Be Creepy, big Carolina fan. Mizzou couldn't score on Bama, got lucky against OU, got blown out by A&M. Carolina kept it with Bama and dominated A&M and OU. Carolina wins again, according to Be Creepy. But, yeah, I mean, this is going to be one hell of a showdown. You know what?
Yeah. What do you ultimately think this game comes down to? Like, I know the easy answer is, everybody's going to want to talk about the defense, and everybody's going to want to talk about the quarterbacks. But do you see anything outside of those that could maybe dictate who wins this football game? Is there something like, if this team does this, I feel like they've got a good shot to win?
I think the same answer for both of them, potentially.
Yeah.
We need the offensive line and we need the running game to step up. Because, again, Sellers is a tank right now. And shout out, spur your enthusiasm. He's 100% right. I mean, last I checked, Shade, A&M had Sellers dead to rights about 6 times.
Yeah.
And I saw it last week, that wild play against Vanderbilt. I mean, they had him dead to rights. Next thing you know, he squirts out of there, and it's a 70-yard pass. You know what I mean? Like, so again, can you keep that up? I hope you can, but otherwise you need your offensive line to protect, and you got to run the football. Particularly if you're Missouri, you have got a really good offensive line. The left tackle, maybe not so much. He's struggling, but again,
the center got hurt too. So
right, Connor Tollison out for the season, so that's very difficult for Missouri to keep. He's one of their best players, but if the offensive line holds together, and again, particularly for Missouri, with now down a key player, but whether it's Brady, whether it's Pine, they're going to have to run, I think, and run a lot, because if you drop back against this defensive line, they're going to kill you.
Yeah.
And with a gimpy quarterback, or with, I gave Drew Pine co-SEC Player of the Week, so I'm not trying to bash him here, but they even said it on the broadcast. He's a little guy, and they're having to move the pocket to help him, and because he can't even see over the offensive line, is what they said. So, how's that going to play with these defensive ends at South Carolina? I don't think it is.
Yeah.
So Missouri's going to have to. They're going to have to run right at him. I think that's the only plan of attack. And same thing for South Carolina. The way Missouri's defense is playing, I think you're going to have to protect. You're going to have to run the football, and it's no coincidence. All the hype Sellers he deserves every bit of it. This is not calling him out, but South Carolina's offense has taken off. You know why?
Why?
Because of Rocket Sanders.
Yeah.
Because he's healthy and he is looking like that elite running back they thought they were getting. He has been that the last couple weeks.
Yeah, where's he been? Out of nowhere. He just looked like a damn. He may be the first running back selected in the draft playing like this.
Right. Hey, shout out Free Durden. He just gave a membership to Cousin Karen. Karen, welcome to the family. And then we got one more here. Chase, appreciate you, brother. He just gave us $10. Nico's playing. Tennessee holds Georgia to 24 points. Who wins the game? Love the show. So, yeah, let's play out his scenario. Nico is playing.
Yeah.
Tennessee holds Georgia to 24. But that would be the most points Tennessee has given up. Man.
Tennessee, 27-24.
I think I'd go the other way, Shane. I think Georgia. I'm telling you, I think it's the first to 20 will win this game.
Well, maybe Chase and his orange, square there just got my orange glasses on. So hopeful, we got a kicker now. We didn't have one 2 weeks ago, so I feel like we get an extra one there, 50-yarder, close it out.
All right, how about this matchup, Shane? What a matchup here we got. LSU at Florida. Man, talk about needing a win.
Yes.
LSU just got thrashed by Alabama, their big rival. Florida just got thrashed by Texas. Now, again, maybe I'm not really buying the Alabama hype. I think I'm about the only one right now. But maybe Alabama, maybe Texas, maybe those are two best damn teams in the SEC and the best teams in the country. Again, I'm not buying that necessarily, but could be. This is the rivalry that has recently been dominated by LSU. They've won 5 in a row. They've won, I think I counted the other day, 9 of 11 and 13 of 15 here. So, it's been LSU and LSU heavy. What's your read on this one? Well,
I think you hit it. It's like these teams, both of them, need this win so bad. They need it, brother. And this is such a fun football game, has been for many, many years. I know LSU's kind of owned them, but if you really look at the win-loss with these guys the last 10 years, you'd be amazed how many end on the last drive, or how many end with a boneheaded mistake or some stupid penalty, or it's this game usually has something quirky involved with it. You know what I'm saying? It's either going to be a fight, a shoe thrown. There's going to be damn, fans coming out in the football field. You never know. I'm sure we'll see a squirrel running around here on this one. It's just this game is going to be nuts, and I feel like both of these coaches need it, maybe even to save their jobs right now. Coach Kelly's taken a lot of hits this last weekend. Napier, really ramped up after that ass whooping down there in Texas. So this is a team who wants it more and who has the give up, because I feel like some of these teams we're going to start seeing them in November aren't going to be able to do 4 quarters of this anymore. There's going to be some give up. So does these teams have it? I don't know, brother. It's going to come down the wire either way.
And which defense do you got more confidence in? Because LSU was improving. They were looking good.
Yeah.
Helped them win Ole Miss. Helped them win Arkansas. And then the wheels came off in that second half against A&M. They do not look like the same unit. Meanwhile, Florida, their defense was keeping them in it against Tennessee, against Georgia. And then the wheels came off against it. I don't know which defense to have more confidence in here.
Well, I'd say a little more in LSU since Florida doesn't have a mobile quarterback, So
right.
I feel like that's been a little bit of their Achilles heel, but yeah, I'm going a little more LSU. And I rewatched that Bama game, and there was moments. And I know Blake Baker took a lot of shit this weekend, still taking it. I heard Paul Feinbaum just laying it out there, But I thought there was moments in this game LSU's defense actually was the one keeping them in it. There was a lot of give, a lot of bend, but no breaks, and until the dam busted. And I feel like that's what happened there. But I don't know, man. I saw constant improvement with LSU's defense. It took a couple of steps back, but they really could bounce back this weekend. And I feel like that's going to be the side that has to win this football game. And if LSU's defense does come to play like we saw it, like Arkansas, there's a chance Florida has another blowout here.
Did your Cinnabon contact? Has he got any information on DJ Lagway? Or has the Bear said anything about Lagway? Let's test the Bear's knowledge here.
Yeah, no thoughts on Lagway, but I would not be surprised if he does not play.
Yeah.
Again, you're thinking longevity. You got your AD coming out saying, "Hey, you're safe. Don't worry about it." So the future of Florida is with DJ Lagway, and you don't do that by getting him hurt more. So I feel like they're going to be a little bit more cautious with him.
But he came back a lot quicker than I thought. He was warming up last week. Of course,
Trey Harris has been warming up for 2 weeks now.
That's true. But I don't know. So I hope he plays, make this game a little bit more competitive, and I hope he's healthy. First of all, that's the important thing. But because I don't know if Florida can get it done with the backup. But
they can't.
You don't think at all?
No.
What if LSU's quit? Basically, I don't think LSU will quit. But if they quit.
I don't think there's quit, and I think that there may be opportunities, Mike. There may be some opportunities on that LSU roster that maybe we give somebody a couple more looks than we normally do, or something. It's like now, believe it or not, the pressure's kind of off of them. They're not going to make a playoff or anything like that. So maybe some stuff they were afraid to do earlier in the weeks, maybe you always want to try some of these kids that are just uber talented, but maybe they got the drops or maybe they have a couple fumbles or something during practice and or they can't get the playbook down. It's like, maybe if we simplify it for these kids, we may have some breakout athletes here. So I wouldn't be surprised if you don't start recognizing a couple new names on that LSU team.
How concerned are you, if at all, about Garrett Nussmeier? Again, go back a couple weeks. He's looking like the best quarterback in the conference. A&M, a number of mistakes. Alabama, a number of mistakes. And we just saw Quinn Ewers in Texas just completely hammer this Gator defense and secondary. If Garrett Nussmeier does not have he doesn't have to throw for 500 yards or anything like that, but if he doesn't have an impressive showing this weekend, what's the confidence that he will, and what will be your reaction if he doesn't?
Can you pull up their schedule LSU schedule right here. If I were Coach Kelly, I would bring him in the office and I'd say, hey, look, this is where we're at. We've got 3 losses. We're not going to the playoffs, but we still got a lot to play for. We got the Florida Gators, Vanderbilt Commodores, and Oklahoma Sooners. We can smoke every single team that's left on this schedule. I'm not afraid of Florida's defense. I'm not afraid of Vandy's defense. And who knows what's going to suit up on November 30th if Oklahoma keeps losing football games. Right. I feel like that was more Nussmeier. Nussmeier cracked he cracked under Texas A&M game. Something happened in there. It knocked him off because he was playing flawless football prior to that. And I'm not saying that it's all psychological here, but I would feel like losing to Bama and knowing that you're not winning a Heisman, you're not going to the playoffs, that would allow him to kind of play a little more loose. And I feel like that's what they've been needing from him from the get-go. So I'd rather he's playing for the NFL here. I'd like to see him just go out here and have rain day, you know?
And it is a long shot, Shane, but LSU is not eliminated yet from the SEC championship. So I think they're not eliminated from the playoff.
Right.
If they go to the championship and they win the championship, they get an auto bid. So they still have something to play for, and it would take a lot of chaos, but they're not done.
So what does this mean? So what would have to happen for LSU to get in? Does this mean they got to win out, obviously, and
they need A&M to lose probably to Auburn and Texas because they don't have the tiebreaker there. They need Alabama to probably lose one. And then they need Tennessee to lose one.
So okay.
They need a lot of losses, and they got to win out.
Is that what you sell? I mean, if you're the head coach here and you're talking to your boys, I mean, what do you think's going on behind scenes there in this family of his?
Well, he was on fine, Bob. And you remember last year when they lost this game, the message was we can get to 10.
Yeah.
10 wins is a hell of a year. And then in the preseason, they came out and said 10 is for losers. 10 will get you fired here. That was from the players. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's in a rough spot right now, and particularly since they seemingly have no answers on the defensive side of the football. I'm concerned. Now, again, we'll see the schedule one more time here. They're going to be favored in all these games. So 9-3, again, that's not the standard at LSU, but that's better than probably all but 4 or 5 teams in the conference.
Yeah.
So I'm not ready to throw this guy out or anything, but hell, if they drop one of these games at Florida, Vanderbilt at home, Oklahoma at home, if they drop even just one.
Yeah.
Buddy. It's going to be a long-ass offseason in Baton Rouge because they got a good recruiting class. I get all that, but it's like, what are we doing here? And what's the future?
I want to ask you, I mean, because we've been talking a lot from the LSU side, but from the Florida side, do you think there's any pressure on Billy? I know we came out with the letter earlier this right before this Texas game, but what do you think what are we looking at here with Florida? Are we just trying to keep it close kind of situation, or
sadly, Shane, I think Billy is safe as can be right now.
Yeah,
thanks to the basketball coach. Yeah. Anybody that missed that, again, I don't know. Innocent till guilty, right? You know what I mean? So he did absolutely nothing wrong. I hope he didn't. But the fact that there's a scandal right now with the basketball program, potential scandal, he is being investigated. This is very real. I don't think, given that the AD he's already hired 2 people, Shane, that had to get fired and dismissed because of scandal. This could be number 3. Every football hire he's made has been a disaster. He's not firing Billy Napier. He's just not, because if he fires him, his ass is following him right out the door with all this. So, I mean, it's kind of sad what it is. I mean, they're playing to score down there.
Yeah.
They're kicking field goals down 42 and people are clapping. I mean, this is insanity. I don't know what happened to this once mighty Florida program. and apparently they're gonna spend all the money on players now. And now that they've put that out there, Shane, guess what's going to happen when the transfer portal opens up? These players are going to say, "Oh, you got $26 million to spend. You offered me $200,000. You got $26 million. That's it's written down. You ain't paying the buyout, so you can pay us." So, man, I think they screwed themselves
It's been a disaster.
Angle.
It's been a total disaster ever since. What's his name and the quarterback that left there?
I'm glad you said that. Jaden Rashada, who's now at Georgia. Because even if that is the strategy, Shane, and maybe everybody that was involved in that, I really don't know the inner workings, but everybody that was involved in that NIL deal, maybe they have no hands in current Florida NIL. Mm-hmm. But if I'm Lane Kiffin, if I'm Kirby Smart, if I'm Josh Heupel or whatever, and I'm battling some Florida for one of these transfers, I'd say, well, the most infamous NIL case for them is they didn't pay the guy.
Yeah.
That I would bring that up every damn time. So yeah, they're promising you X amount. I'll give you Jaden Rashada's number. You ask him how that worked. You know what I mean? So yeah. I don't even think this strategy is going to be effective for them.
Gee, what a mess. What a mess. So who needs it worse, huh? Who needs it worse?
If you don't win this, you're cooked. You know what? You know what they could really use down there at Florida, Shane?
What's that?
BetterHelp. They need some help down there. We're sponsored by BetterHelp. Shout out BetterHelp. You're thinking about giving therapy a try. If you're a Florida fan, you're down in the dumps, go to BetterHelp.com. That's BetterHelp.com/SEC. That'll get you 10% off your first month over at BetterHelp. What is BetterHelp? Online therapy. You go over there, you take a quick questionnaire, and they pair you with a licensed therapist. And if you don't like the therapist, Shane, you say, Billy Napier, his ass, give me Lane Kiffin, and they'll get you a better qualified therapist over at BetterHelp.com. And no additional charge. Just you can switch as many times as you want over at BetterHelp/SEC. That promo code SEC gets you 10% off your BetterHelp. Get all the help you need. You know what?
Come on now. If you need it, get it.
You know who else might need some help this weekend, Shane?
Who's that?
Them Hogs. Come on, Texas. Coming down to Arkansas. Again, old rivalry weekend. This is one hell of a rivalry. Sarkisian's trying to hype his team up, let them know how much the Hogs hate their ass. And I think he's just trying to make sure they know that this game's going to be taken very seriously in this state. Arkansas has been in this situation before. Everyone counting them out. There's no way in hell you can beat a top 5 team. Well, hell, we already done it. We've already done it. We got 2 weeks to prepare. Taylon Green, probable. Running back Braylon Russell, probable. Running back JaQuinton Jackson, he is questionable. But let's hope they get him back because the spread's 15 points. But, hell, we have seen Arkansas in this situation before. They have responded. Is this a trap game, you think, for the Texas Longhorns?
Could be. Absolutely could be. Because if you remember last time these two teams met, Texas was supposed to win until they didn't. Mm-hmm. You know, Arkansas's got a 2-game winning streak with these guys. You look, the last, I think it was 7 years, 5 of them went in favor of the Arkansas Razorbacks. So, yeah, this is a team. This is a papaw rivalry right here. You know, hell, it's even before my time. I can't even really appreciate just how bad these two teams hate. But you want to go down a rabbit hole? Google it. Turn on the Googs, as they say, and find out what this rivalry meant to our great grandfathers. You know, this rivalry built these two teams. So I'm pumped up for it, man, because this would be I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it, Super Bowl for the Arkansas Razorbacks. This is it. Everybody doesn't stop talking about them. You know, they had their moment, but the last time they went against a UT. You know what happened, Mike? They embarrassed them. They punched them right in the mouth. So I think this is a big one for them, and there's no way in hell these boys are overlooking it. But I think they are setting it up as this is the most important game on our schedule right now. Texas could be overlooking them. They're already talking about the SEC championship, already talking about college football players. I'm sure they're going to look pretty here in a few hours when they come out with the new rankings. But all that goes out to the wayside if you lose to Arkansas. So yeah, this is a big game, and it's easy to not overlook if you're Sark if you can easily point at the last time this happened and how you guys went home with your tail between your legs.
Hey, shout out Cousin Tyler. He's got a question for us here, Shane. What's the path for Arkansas to win this football game? For me, I think we got to get Taylor Green going.
Yep.
Because as he goes, the Arkansas program's gone this year. They're really good at running the ball at times, explosive pass plays. But really, the key to this game, I think, is going to be their defensive backs. Because they struggled big time against Ole Miss. I mean, Ole Miss is going up and down the field on them.
Yeah.
And with Quinn Ewers, and now that he's healthy, or at least appears to be, how could you say otherwise for the way he torched Florida? And those receivers, they are going to be at a major, major, major advantage in this matchup. So you're not going to shut them down.
Yeah.
But, an interception here, a play like that, a tip ball there, a tip here. That's how you get. We need Landon Jackson. We got to get him going. Mm-hmm. Get this Arkansas's got a good defensive line, but Texas got a hell of an offensive line. We got to win some one-on-ones if we're Arkansas. That's a recipe to getting an upset.
Yeah, eliminate drives. I think this has got to be a time of possession kind of game where it's not just Taylor Green. We need Green to move the chains. We don't need him to have a 30, 40-yard bomb every time. This is
right.
Like you talked about. Just get that running game going, keep the chains moving, keep Ewers and company off the field. And I feel like if that's a recipe that has worked to an extent for certain teams, but I love that Arkansas has enough firepower to execute when needed. So it's not a team that can you don't want to get down the Ole Miss. You don't go toe to toe and just try to just to swap blows, because evenly Texas is going to beat you. But I do think that there's an opportunity to steal possessions. Like I said, keep yours, try to force some 3 and outs and just a little miracle. You're going to need a little of this on there, a little lady luck on your side, and then Arkansas all of a sudden may come out to win here.
Razor Bass 904 just gave us 904, Shane. Contrary to 2 weeks ago, word on the street is Sam Pittman is back next year as long as he doesn't lose to Louisiana Tech. Hogs by 90, he says. But that's interesting. But how about this, Shane? Again,
just can't get blown out, though,
Right. The Longhorns did not appreciate our Matt Hughes or Matt Hayes interview, who loved to point out, hell, this is Texas only had one conference road trip till damn near the last week of October here. But so this is only their second conference road trip. And this is what now? Ooh.
Damn.
6 in a row. I know there's been bye weeks mixed in here, but 6th conference game in a row. Does that take its toll at some point? I mean, this is what we all talked about, Shane. And everybody talks about how easy the schedule is for Texas, that's a fair. I mean, hell, they haven't beat a ranked team yet. But this is what we talk about when we say welcome to the SEC.
Yeah.
It's 6 straight SEC games, and it's usually at the tail end of that. Someone like in Arkansas bites you in the ass when you're not expecting it, and if that happens, it's going to be everything we've said. Could that be a factor? And combine that, Shane, with Texas being on cloud 9. You said the rankings. The rankings are about to come out. Texas is probably going to be number 3 according to Dave Bartu. So they're in. We're elite. No one can stop us. We're not even considering Arkansas. All those factors, could that play against Texas this week?
Yeah. I mean, I've even heard, even if we lose to A&M, we're still getting in. It's like, not if you dropped Arkansas. Trust me, that's the one Tennessee they always want to point out is that loss. But here's the thing, Texas, I didn't even really think about that. This may be the most hostile environment they've seen since the Big House, and it just depends on Arkansas fans showing up, and they do that. Maybe that's the factor. It's just because the place can get rowdy. I mean, trust me, I've seen it this year, but it's gonna be interesting to say the least. You always feel like there's that overlook deal. I mean, that's what it is. Classic trap game 101. And you circle this one. It's like, this is it. You're overlooking it. You're already feeling like you've already stamped your way to the SEC champions. You're thinking of Texas A&M at the end of the year, but Kentucky, this team, I mean, both of these guys have pulled off big upsets. Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Ole Miss. Both of them can knock you off.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of getting knocked off, Shane. New spot. No, I'm just kidding. ULM, Shane, at Auburn. Oh, buddy. I didn't realize this was ULM's going to have 2 footballs in this matchup against old Auburn. But take that for what it's worth. UL Monroe, they've won 5 games, Shane. Auburn's only won 3 this year. So, again, not in the conference or anything like that. But Peyton Thorne did not practice all last week during the bye. Apparently, he got a little banged up against Vanderbilt. So that's got a lot of fans hoping, praying that we get another quarterback here for Auburn. I don't know exactly what that'll mean, but thoughts on this matchup and just speaking of must win. I mean, Hugh Freeze, I don't know if he'll be coaching by Sunday if he loses this damn game.
Shit, I'd fight Hugh Freeze in the plane if he loses this game. You know what I'm saying? Oh, no, you cannot lose it. You can't let it be close either. I think that's the one thing I worry about the most is not so much Auburn losing it, but we're sitting there in the third quarter and it's 9-6 or something like that. That's what we can't have. This should be a game like week 1 that we don't even talk about, that we don't even acknowledge this was even on their schedule. So come out here, put them away, move on to the next one because you still are fighting. I mean, it's a long shot, Mike, but you're still fighting for a bowl game. And I feel like if they could do that, brother, if they could do that, this would be the first sign is that they come out and blow a team out like ULM. And if they do that, then maybe there's hope for the final 2 games of the season.
Is it a little bit of a danger zone, though, Shane? Because it's one of these where, like, you know, you're a massive favorite. Everyone's expecting you to win. I'm looking at the spread. The spread's 24. Auburn's favored by 24. If it get off to a slow start, which is seemingly every damn game with Auburn, you know, a mistake. If Peyton Thorne plays, I don't know. You know, either Peyton Thorne and one of the other quarterbacks have made mistakes too. You know. And then the snowball just starts. I mean, I think that is a real thing. I'm not saying that'll happen, but like if it's tied in the second quarter, buddy, I'm getting nervous. You know what?
Yeah, I am too. Just talking about it. It's almost like we're talking it into existence. And I already see the game. It felt like in my mind, I see Auburn down 7-0, you know, like at some point in this football game. It shouldn't be that way, but Auburn keeps finding a way to make every team a close game. So, but you could put all of it away. They got a good defense. They got a very efficient offense. I know that Peyton Thorne gets a hard time now, but I think Peyton Thorne's second half of the season is different than the first half of the season. It's just the opportunities haven't been there, and this is kind of a good game to clean all that up and kind of get back on page because, by God, they're going to have to play flawless football the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, especially with 2 weeks to prepare.
Yeah.
If you come out flat, this
embarrassing.
Yeah. Hey, shout out cousin Stephen Hill. He just gifted a membership to Azriel. Welcome
to
Azriel,
the family.
To the family. We screwed that up. But thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Azriel. Welcome. How about this one, Shane? Yes. New Mexico State at Texas A&M. A&M's like a 30.
Dang. Is that guns? Are they allowed to have guns in the logo? It's 24, Mike.
That's about the only cool thing about New Mexico State these days. But, I mean, again, the spread's about 40 points here, so we're not going to learn much. But anything you want to see from A&M after they had a tough outing their last showing?
Well, I mean, LSU has a live tiger. Do we have live guns? That's what I want to see, Mike. No, you want to talk about shootouts. That's what this one should be, Mike. Should be an absolute shootout, and I'd love to see a lot of points scored in this one. This is one that Texas A&M needs to get back, you know. I mean, you got that embarrassing game with South Carolina. You got your quarterback out here messaging people, you know, inappropriate stuff. They just kind of need to get back to college football, back to what got us excited about them to begin with, and that is a prolific offense and a stifling defense. And you could do that with New Mexico State here.
Yeah, and then two others real quick. I mean, there's not. I mean, these don't even have spreads, Shane. Alabama, Mercer.
Yeah.
Mercer is 9-1, for what that's worth. And then Kentucky, Murray State. I don't even really care about the games because again, the starters will be pulled by halftime. But did you see Mark Stoops came out? They asked him.
Yeah.
About his, you go step down, you gonna retire, and he said, no shot. And I'll tell you what I read on that, Shane, Stephen and I were talking about it, Shane, and we both agree that this does not mean he'll be back. What this means is he knows I got $44 million buyout.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not walking away from it. You fire my ass. You give me my money. I'm not walking away from that money. That's what I took from that more than anything else. What about you?
Yeah. Not that he won't be there, but if he's not there, he'll have $44 million in his pocket.
Yep. All right. So anything else before we hop off the line, brother?
No. Pumped up, ready for some action. Remember Steve-O and Mike going to be on here a little bit when they do the college football playoff reveal.
Yep.
And mailbag. Mike's going to shoot off a tweet. No, that's tomorrow, right? No,
Yeah,
that's
so
tonight. Yeah,
I'll do it tonight. So yeah, we'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah. So get your mailbag questions in. We'll be sure to cover those over tomorrow. We're going to have fun. Love mailbag, a little bit laid back. Going to have a double show tomorrow as well, man. I'm telling you, you're getting your money's worth today.
Yeah,
It's like those fireworks stands, you buy one bottle rocket, get the second one for free. That's kind of what you're getting here.
Yeah, so stay tuned. Again, it'll be not long, about 20 minutes. I'll be hopping right back on for the playoff reveal. We're going to have Stephen Lassen talking it up. So be back here in just a bit. But until the next one, we appreciate each and every one of you. See you tomorrow.
See you guys. Go Vols.
Butchered that one.
Nailed it.